May the odds be ever in your favor, right? Or something like that. I've started over more times than I can count at this point. I even uploaded a video with the same title more than a year ago onto YouTube, and then I deleted it thinking I needed another fresh start. You see a pattern, right? I've promised myself that this time will be different because I'm finally okay with being messy and starting messy and still doing what I actually want to do. Something you might not realize is the fact that a lot of us are going through the exact same shit. We just don't talk about it for some reason. So take this as a sign. I've been at this point over and over again. It never worked out, not because I didn't want it, obviously, but because something in me kept pulling the brakes. Maybe I wanted it too much, and that's why I'm starting yet again. So in this video, I'm sharing with you what held me back and what finally helped me move on, move past this block and show up for myself. I can't even really pinpoint the first moment, but it has to be sometime before COVID, which is almost like 6 years now. Damn, that's a long time. But I kept hitting the same walls. The fear of being seen, or the fear of being seen trying and failing, striving for perfection, not knowing my niche or not knowing what I want to talk about or what I can offer, the lack of consistency, self-doubt, and the fear of failing. Most of the time I hid behind research, behind waiting for the right time, but the right time never came, so now I'm here creating the right time. With the fear of being seen, you think everyone's watching. The truth is that most people are busy watching themselves. I mean, so am I, right? To a point where I am paralyzed by myself. Harsh truth is you and I are not that important to others. Perfectionism is something that we all know, I think. It is just another form of delaying things. Real excellence, real talent comes from repetition, repeating your craft over and over again until you're better. Like muscles, like art, like anything at all, really. I thought I needed value before I could use my voice for something that I believe in. Turns out you are the value. Your stories, your angles, your lens, your perception of things. Let's talk consistency, my least favorite topic at all. It's not sexy, but it's necessary. Consistency also does not mean to overwork yourself, but to show up on a regular basis. I learned that before. I unlearned it in the past 3 years. Now I'm back to square one, but I have some feeling for it. As a start, right? That's something I can work with. Another thing is imposter syndrome or self-doubt, and we are all victim to that, I believe, to some degree, some more, some less. The question always is, am I good enough? Am I interesting enough? There's always these questions and these limiting beliefs that hold me back or held me back up until the point where I just froze in place. But the real question is, why am I doing this and who I'm doing it for? Of course, another big one is the fear of failing. Now, and for the most time actually, but now I just realized it again, that failure is more of a redirect. It's a redirection from things that aren't supposed to work out just now because it's either really not for you or it's not for you now at this time. I see it as like a divine no, as a divine redirection. Hell, I've been applying for part-time jobs as a freelancer and I have gotten so much rejection lately. To say it's really not bothering me at all would be a lie, but knowing that it's just not meant to be and that it probably makes space for something else that is better for me at this point makes it easier to just get on with my life. One thing you have to know about me at this point in my life, I have been stuck in a functional freeze, I have been burnt out, and I have been in a depressive episode. I didn't have no motivation at all to do anything for myself. There was so much that I wanted to do, but I couldn't. I physically, mentally couldn't after working so much. Even though this inner motivation wasn't fully there yet, I knew that if there were something that would force me to take care of myself, I'd probably gain momentum and the rest would fall into place by itself. With that in mind, I went to therapy. So therapy cracked me open once again. It helped me to show up for myself, even when I didn't want to. It forced me to sit through the emotions I have been avoiding, to cycle through them. Really helped me gain momentum. Now to the part that I really don't enjoy all too much, and it's movement. Movement in any form brought me back into my body and helped me to clear the noise in my head. But the thing is, I'm a lazy person. I had the discipline to do it on a regular basis. I lost that discipline, so I have to get it back. But movement can be anything really. The tiniest bit of movement can help you clear your mind and connect to your body. And I strongly believe that the body also stores trauma and emotions in good and bad ways. Movement kind of opens up the channels to really be able to process everything. Also, talking about it is like one huge thing. As someone who is like hyper independent and who always wants to do things by themselves for themselves, but saying it out loud and talking to people that I can trust and that I love really helped me to build trust in the process of failing to achieve the greatness I'm striving for. Talking about anything really is helping myself to reflect in that very same moment and afterwards, and it really helps to make it real and to make it go away in a sense, because you're not just carrying it around inside of you all the time. So just talk about it, it helps. What might also help are practices I have been doing 4 years prior to the moment right now. I went into spirituality and meditation and really got into the nitty-gritty of myself, my concepts, and the concepts I carry about the world. I was journaling a lot, I was writing a diary, I was writing about my feelings, about my day, about everything you can think of. And writing your thoughts, no matter how gruesome or how hurtful or even great they are, might help you to unload and free yourself of this heaviness that you are experiencing. It also helps you to reflect and refocus and see, okay, this and that is really not helping me and this is what I want, so I'd rather focus on that. Write down your thoughts, there is no rules, there is no nothing. Meditation is something that changed my life completely in ways that I cannot even describe today. Even though I don't feel great, meditation doesn't mean that it fixes everything just like that. But meditation helped me to achieve a whole new perspective on life and what life has to offer and how I view myself and other people, and it also helped me to lead with kindness instead of anything else, really. I only have good things to say about meditation. It improves your focus, it improves your mood, it improves your ability to see yourself, and you feel more intensely and beautifully, and the human experience for me personally changed immensely. Another great thing, besides doing all the workouts I have done, CrossFit and whatever, loved it and hated it at the same time. One thing that I would put above everything else would be yoga. I'm stiff as hell. I'm still not fit enough to do all these poses, and it just looks weird, like a blob of flesh trying to form a human being. It's literally one of the best things you can do for your body and mind, because it takes you out of the situation, out of your life in that moment. And also I use like tutorials for beginners, because I am obviously a beginner. One of the instructors I'm watching says it's never about the poses or how it looks or whatever. It's more about being in the moment, being with yourself, your body and your mind. What I know now that I am slowly coming out of this burnout and this functional freeze, Nike might have been onto something this entire time. Just do it, literally. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just take the first step, no matter how tiny or insignificant it seems. Just take this goddamn first step. It can really change the trajectory of your life. Let me be the living, breathing example of this. 2 weeks ago, I was still lying around on bed, still mourning and grieving the old version of myself that I have lost in the process. Now, 2 weeks in, I am posting on a regular basis. I am doing yoga. I am eating healthy, which was like one of the hardest things to do actually. But it's just like 2 weeks and I have to keep showing up for myself, that's for sure. But at the same time, I am really happy that I took the first step. I'm really happy that I forced myself into therapy. This gave me the momentum to keep pushing. Give zero fucks. Nobody cares. Literally, nobody cares about you, nobody cares about me. At the end of the day, you are constantly thinking of yourself as well. In a sense of, what might these people think about me if I do X, Y, and Z? What do I think about that person? I, me. This is so hard to admit, but I've been so in my head about how people would perceive me or how they would judge me. At the end of the day, that's not what this is about. As I said before, it's more about who and why I'm doing this. The last thing is repetition over talent. Having talent is great. Having talent makes things easier. If I can take away any lesson from the past 3 years of my mental downfall, is the fact that I went looking for a job. I found a job as a photographer. Mind you, I never had a camera in my hand up until this day. I had no clue what I was doing, but they were great enough to teach me the basics and to teach me how to shoot photos in a studio with lighting equipment and whatnot. And in the first 2 months, probably, I really wanted to quit every goddamn day because I couldn't see the progress I've been making. Factually speaking, I did make progress, but my perception of myself was like, oh no, I did no progress. I have nothing. I've learned nothing. I didn't get better. And I realized I have improved. Not the way I would have wanted to, but I improved. So I kept repeating for like 8 months probably before I quit. And now my photography is at a level where I'm really happy about it, and I'm really proud of the work I can produce. Long story short, repeat. That's how every great story begins. Talent will help you, but endurance and repetition will get you where you want to be. So let's begin again. I'm not here because I beat fear. Honestly, I'm here because I'm learning to walk with it, or despite it, or through it. I'm not quite sure on that part, but I'm just doing it despite all the odds, or against all the odds, or with all the odds. As Effie Trinket was saying, may the odds be ever in your favor, right? Or something like that. If you've been waiting for a sign, let this be it. No matter what you want to start with, start messy, start scared, but just start. Just do it. If you have to print out the Just Do It logo from Nike and put it on your vision board, whatever, just start. You know, the biggest motivational factor, or my biggest fear in a sense, is to look back at my life when I'm 80 and to look back at my life and think of all the things I didn't try because I was too afraid at that point. And also, as Buddha said, the biggest mistake is you think you have time. And I don't want to scare you anymore, and kind of is pressuring as well. But also, you know, I am 30 and I realize that I both have time and I don't have time. And in a sense, it's like, it's a paradox. It doesn't make too much sense when you think about it too hard. I haven't been doing a lot of things because I was scared, and I still have a lot of time to do the things, but also not. You know what I mean? Anyways, think of it what you will, interpret it the way you need to, because I'm sure as hell not the person to tell you exactly what it means. Take everything anyone ever says to you with a grain of salt. Think critically. Stuff that applies to me might not apply to you. Just keep that in mind, that critical thinking is one of the greatest skills you can potentially have. And kindness. Don't forget kindness. Anyways, gosh, that was my first video. I'm sweating and I am nervous. My heart is racing. But if you came to this point, thanks for watching. And I hope this offered some value. See, the value thing, offered some insights, and you can take something away from this. And yeah, thank you very much.